Endurance sports are often associated with lighter athletes. Much like a car or an airplane, a runner's body must be able to slice through the air at a high rate of speed, but be fuel efficient enough to go the distance. Conventional wisdom fuels myths that an increase in muscle can create unwanted body mass that will interfere with this efficiency.
In endurance athletes, where they're performing their normal endurance activities at the same time as doing strength training, body mass doesn't really increase in those folks.
David Diggin, assistant professor at Ithaca College's School of Health Sciences and Human Performance, is conducting a study that he hopes will dispel these myths and emphasize the benefits that strength training can have on a runner's ability to use their own energy effectively.
In relation to strength training and its impact on endurance sports, quite often we have three potential misconceptions. First will be that strength training will increase body mass in the athlete, make them heavier, and therefore reduce their performance. The second, maybe strength training is only really beneficial for endurance athletes to potentially reduce injury risk. And then the third is that because they're required to work for extended periods of time, that they only really benefit from strength training that actually includes high repetitions.
And have you found that those misconceptions make it difficult to kind of get athletes to be open-minded about this kind of study?
To be honest, no. We've been able to recruit from among the local running community. Athletes are starting to realize now that they will really benefit from doing these types of training practices.
And the only person who did improve, what if I got worse?
Katerina Massa is a distance runner who learned about Professor Diggin's study through a Facebook post and decided to participate.
I always heard it helped, and I was like, let me try it for myself. Better than reading like some study, I guess.
Do you have any reservations about strength training?
Sure, I mean, I never really did it before, and like when I started squatting, I was kind of nervous because it was a lot of heavy weight.
The study works on a 15-week schedule in which athletes are split into two separate groups, both of which are assigned different training regimens.
And generally, the athletes will come to us and they'll work with us over maybe a 15-week period or so. So we'll test them before they get going on their training, and then we'll basically divide the athletes into an experimental group and a control group. The experimental group will come to us twice a week for strength training. The control group will just continue with their normal training practices, and then we'll test both groups at the end just to see how it's impacted their performance.
And now that you're moving into the post-testing phase, what are some developments specifically that you're looking for in your athletes?
I shouldn't really be looking for too much specifically and trying to approach it from an objective manner, but generally what we will likely see is that economy will improve. So the athletes will use less energy at a given workload.
While the term muscle stiffness is not often associated with positive effects in athletes, in runners, stiffness refers to muscle tension. Much like a tight spring recoils with more energy than a loose one, more muscle stiffness results in a springier step.
And then we put all of this together and we measure what we call stiffness, which kind of relates to how the athlete is springy, or the spring-like characteristics of their leg when they run. And what we're really looking at is how that changes from before and after the training plan.
This is done through an intense series of post-testing in which each athlete is examined for improvements in their economy.
4, 3, 2, 1, applause.
Despite the rigorous testing, Katerina says she can already feel the positive impacts.
I'm gonna find out if, I guess, VO2 max was improved, and so running more economically. So I have kind of noticed that when I'm running, I'll go for my same easy runs, but the pace will be faster, but I don't feel tired.
But you do feel like it's helped you so far?
Yeah, the biggest thing is continuing on my own now, strength training.